Who will be the first UFC triple champion? I feel like we went from every UFC champion wanting to be double champion to now recently a push to become triple champion. A couple weeks ago, Alex Pereira got his belt back and immediately made it clear that he wants to fight at heavyweight and possibly try to get a shot at that belt. During this time, another champion in Chimaev went on Twitter to announce that he would also like a shot at fighting in a third division and would like the chance to fight Alex Pereira at 205 and shit. Even said that he would follow Alex to heavyweight if it meant defeating Alex Pereira. And finally, Ilia Topuria has been talking about being a triple champion even before he was lightweight champion, and now with Ilia Topuria looking like he's going to dominate every contender at lightweight, it might look like his next challenge has to be at 170. But how possible are any of these moves? Are all of these guys just talking like every champion has done in the past, or are one of them actually going to pull off greatness? So in today's video, let's go over Chimaev, Ilia Topuria, and Alex Pereira's chances at becoming the UFC's first triple champion. Starting off with Alex Pereira. He's in a really good position to become a 3-division champion as he's already become a champion in 2 divisions. Of course, he killed himself to make 185 and became champion, and now became a 2-time light heavyweight champion. Now that he has defeated every former light heavyweight champion after Glover, it looks like his next challenge has to be at heavyweight. And size-wise, he looks the part now. Alex Pereira hasn't even been preparing for heavyweight, but these days, Alex routinely rehydrates to about 232 at light heavyweight, which is already really, really big. And when out of camp, he's walking around 240, which is a couple pounds shy of what Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane weighed in at in their fight. And I'm sure I don't have to remind you guys, but he has a gigantic 6'4" to 6'5" frame. And when he stands next to Jon Jones or Ciryl Gane, he looks as big as them. And I mean, look at him next to boxing heavyweight Tyson Fury. He's not small at all. If Alex Pereira properly prepares for heavyweight, I'm sure he can easily get to 250 and lean. Without the weight cut and dehydration, we'll see Pereira at his full power. So again, size and frame wise, he should be good to go, but the biggest concern here with Alex Pereira at heavyweight is his ability to wrestle, or really anti-wrestle. Alex was able to defend every shot against Magomed and Chimaev, but two things. Even though Magomed is Dagestani, do not let that fool you. He's historically been more of a striker and doesn't have the most dominant wrestling. And second, he's no Tom Aspinall. Look at the statistics side by side. Tom lands over 3 times as many takedowns per 15 minutes, and his takedown accuracy blows Ank's takedown accuracy out the water. Tom Aspinall at his size and speed is terrifying, and we mix in great technique. I'm afraid no matter how big Alex gets, he's not stopping a freight train in Tom Aspinall from taking him down. Another thing that I think is stopping Alex Pereira from becoming champion is that a Jon Jones fight will probably take precedent over a fight with Tom Aspinall. I said it in last week's video, but both guys have pretty much agreed to fight each other and probably for UFC White House, and as much as Jon Jones hasn't been true to his word, I really do think he would come out of retirement to face Alex, mainly because he stylistically matches up really well against him. And when Alex probably loses his fight at heavyweight, I doubt that Dana would want to set up Alex for the title shot next, but who knows? Maybe heavyweight is so bad that Dana is forced to have Tom face Alex for the belt. But again, you run into the same issue for Alex. He's getting steamrolled by Tom Aspinall. So all in all, Alex really only has a puncher's chance against Tom. That's also to say that Alex actually does get this fight, and a possible loss to Jon Jones wouldn't stop that. The percentage chance of all of this happening, like 5%. Alright, let's talk about the guy that's trying to fight Alex Pereira to become triple champion, and that's Chimaev. Khamzat is in a unique case because unlike Alex or Ilia, he's only been champion in 1 division, but before going to 185, he was looking like a problem at 170. He had an all-time war against, at the time, a top-ranked Gilbert Burns, who just fought for the title a couple fights ago, and looked like a matchup nightmare for Leon Edwards, who became champion shortly after the Khamzat Burns fight. Of course, the problem with Khamzat was that the dude could not make weight. Khamzat infamously came into his fight with Nate Diaz a whopping 7.5 pounds overweight and ran through Kevin Holland instead at a catch weight of 180. Since then, Khamzat has looked like a monster at his more natural weight class of 185 and has destroyed Robert Whittaker and dominated Dricus du Plessis to become champion. Now he's called for his bid at 205 against Alex Pereira, but interestingly, he's also mentioned that he thinks he can still make weight at 170 and fight the winner of Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. Pretty bold claims both ways, really, starting with the move to 170. If Khamzat Chimaev goes back to welterweight, I'm 99% sure he beats anyone there. If Dricus du Plessis at 185 couldn't stop Khamzat, no one is stopping Khamzat at 170. Not JDM, not Islam Makhachev, not anyone in the top 5 at 170 will stop the seemingly unstoppable force of Khamzat Chimaev. But the bigger challenge here is if Khamzat Chimaev can make 170. It's going to be very, very hard, especially considering when he was fighting at 170, he was having trouble making weight. Now add on the fact that he's probably gained a decent amount of muscle. That's going to be a nightmare for Khamzat to lose. But again, if he somehow makes 170, that's a guaranteed second belt. But what about the third belt? That's where things get very, very interesting. Khamzat's very big for 170. Pretty big at 185, but might be average or even on the smaller side at 205. This is the closest walk around weight I could find for Khamzat Chimaev. He's about 217. Granted, this was a while back when he was fighting at 170. He could be around 220 or 230 now, which is average for a light heavyweight. But when you put him next to like Gustafsson, a 205 legend, who I would assume is the same size as Alex Pereira, Khamzat looks pretty small. But will that size matter? Khamzat might be technically undersized, but his strength and overwhelming grappling ability was able to run through a big guy in Dricus du Plessis, and we've seen videos of Khamzat's strength, like him picking up DC with ease, and his grappling ability being able to dominate a good and big grappler in Luke Rockhold, who's fought at 205 before. If Khamzat truly prepares, I think he'll be undersized for Alex, but his strength will be there, and honestly, dare I say, a pretty tough matchup for Alex Pereira. Magomed Ankalaev was a good test for Alex's takedown defense, but Khamzat is going to shoot way more and be relentless. I would still favor Alex, of course, because he will be the naturally bigger guy and utilizes his tall frame well to get back up, and he's really hard to keep down. But Khamzat, in my opinion, has a better chance at beating Alex Pereira than Alex does beating Tom or John Jones at heavyweight. I would say Khamzat has a 20-ish% chance of either cutting down to 170 and becoming champion at welterweight, or moving up to 205 and becoming champion there, but doing both in his career, yeah, that's what we call a parlay, and I would give that a 5% chance of hitting. Then we finally get to Ilia Topuria. Like Alex Pereira, he's already become a champion at 2 different divisions and looks pretty unstoppable at both. But also, like I mentioned in this video, I think his luck will run out at 170, and unlike Khamzat and Alex Pereira, he has a relatively small frame going into 170 or even at 155. Look at this picture next to Pantoja. Ilia Topuria is only 5'7" and is not even a stocky guy like Volkanovski. I truly believe that Ilia's weight is mostly due to bone density and not the amount of weight he's able to put on his frame. I also think that heavy bone density is why he hits so goddamn hard. But even at lightweight, Ilia Topuria is pretty undersized. He claimed on Joe Rogan he walks around 80 to 82 kilos or 170 to 180, which if it's 170, that's on the smaller side of lightweight, and if he's more 180, that's about average. But the thing is, Renato Moicano and Islam Makhachev rehydrated to about 180 in their bout, meaning they're probably walking around more so 185 to 190. Again, with this smaller frame, I just don't see him going past 185, even if he tried putting on the muscle and weight correctly over a long period of time. The guys at 170 are well over 190, with most of them at 200. No way will Ilia Topuria be able to compete with that size. It doesn't matter how skilled Ilia Topuria is or how much power he holds, there will come a point where size and enough skill will trump the talent of Ilia Topuria, and that's at 170. Imagine a guy like JDM, who has just as good as boxing as Ilia Topuria with 20 to 30 pounds more on him and 4 inches taller. As great as Ilia Topuria is, he physically just does not possess the tools to be successful at 170 and really only has a puncher's chance like Alex Pereira, but considering he doesn't have the size to compete at welterweight like Alex does at heavyweight, I would give Ilia's chances more like a 3% likelihood. Honestly, the best way for Ilia Topuria to become 3-division champion would be to pray that Islam Makhachev wins against JDM and then he chases Islam at 170. Islam's big, but he's not a natural welterweight, and like I've been saying, Ilia matches up really well to Islam stylistically, but still, fighting Islam at 170 is only going to be more of an advantage for Islam Makhachev, and Ilia's best chance at beating Islam would be to wait for Islam to possibly move back down to 155. But anyways, what do you guys think? Who will be the first UFC triple champion? In my opinion, I think Khamzat or maybe Alex Pereira have the best chances, although very low. And Ilia Topuria, in my opinion, just has no chance at 170 and becoming triple champion. But I do think, me personally, with all of these champions being so dominant and dominating not just one but two weight classes, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see a champion that has a huge frame, kill themselves to become champion in one division and move up 1 or 2 divisions like Alex Pereira and get it done. But again, what do you guys think? Who's going to be the first UFC triple champion, and is it even possible? But also, thank you guys for watching, always supporting. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.